Hello everyone, it is good to be back making videos. It's been a little bit complicated for me making videos in the last couple months, which is why I've only had one video come out. But due to some technical difficulties, I had some problems. So really happy to be hopefully back making videos that work. So we'll see. This is the New American Standard 1995 Side Column Reference Bible from the Lockman Foundation. This one is one I've really looked forward to. I know I've said it a million times, but I really like single column, and I like having cross-references. The whole study Bible issue is something else that I can talk about later, but I actually don't usually purchase reference Bibles on my own, but I do like having the references, especially when they're in the proper place to not be distracting if you just want to read or you just want to use them. So it needs to be both ways, in my opinion. This Bible really fits right in the middle there. So this is the exterior of the slipcase. Some information on the back. This one is printed in Korea. And there you go for that. This is the brown Leathertex. I wish they didn't have so many options. They have Leathertex, Leathersoft, Leathertouch. It's mind-boggling. Okay, so this one is the brown, and I will compare it quickly in a second with the other brown Leathertex edition that I have. And you'll notice there are perimeter stitching. This is a feature that Lockman is going to start adding to all of their Leathertex editions. It's something I think is really awesome. It just adds a touch of quality to the Bible. The spine has 5 tooled lines. Then it has Holy Bible, New American Standard Bible 1995, side column reference, and then NASB and Lockman Foundation. I pointed it out before. It's kind of busy, but it does offer a lot of information, and the blind stamping keeps it from being too loud, and so it's actually not that annoying compared to if it was gold foiled or something like that. And look here, there's no ISBN printed on the back. That's probably one of the biggest things that I will say good job too, because that's something that a lot of people complain about, including myself. It's not a big deal, but it's just a little bit annoying because it kind of deters from the look of the Bible itself. So that's something really neat that they changed, and you'll notice that from the wide margin. This is the 2020. I've reviewed this one already. It's the same brown Leathertex, pretty much the same. You can see the same grain in it, but there's no perimeter stitching, and the ISBN is stamped on the back. So 2 big changes that I think were done in good taste. So let's open this up. This is a paste down vinyl liner. Can't see the reinforcement tape, but there's probably some in there. Presentation page. This one has all of the typical presentation information. I like that they added the tree in here for the family. You have births, deaths, and then occasions to remember that likes to hide behind the first page. New American Standard Bible 1995 text. Here is the publication page. Side column reference 2023. You'll notice it is produced, the typesetting 2K Denmark, and here's your other options. They have black, blue, brown, and a genuine leather, and then a black and brown goatskin, which is their prime editions. And it is printed in Korea. Here's the table of contents. Books of the Bible forward, explanation of general format, abbreviations, and the Old Testament. And right off the bat, it is laying as flat as can be expected from a pretty much brand new Bible. I haven't really broken this one in at all, and it's really floppy. So here is the format. Very clean, very, very familiar, even though I've never had one, but that's another story. Let's go over the features. This is a 32 GSM high opacity paper, has gold page gilding, no art gilding. There are 2 ribbons These are both angle cut 3/8 inch double satin. There's a brown and a black. And then it does have brown head and tail bands. The text is a 10.5 point, and it's quite legible, and it's not too dark. I've noticed on some editions of the Bible, especially newer ones, sometimes the printing can be dark or light. This one's very consistent all the way through, really easy on the eyes, not too bold but not too light. Text is not justified. You can see that it hangs on the right. It is justified on the left where you have your verse numbers. And that's something that I will say is one feature I'm not sold one side or the other. There are some, especially with the wide margin, where the verse numbers are inset. So it's a whole justified column. You can't see the verse numbers on the outside. They're pretty much part of the text as far as the block goes. But it is still verse by verse. Where this one is on the outside, so it creates a full text block of the text is separate from the verse numbers, and so it's just a one big block of text aside from the subject headings. It's not one that I've made a really opinion on yet, but it's something that is notable, and it might be a preference that you might have. This is a full notes and reference edition. There are over 14,000 textual footnotes and over 95,000 cross-references. And the way that they're designed and laid out in this Bible are the cross-references are on the upper margin and the textual footnotes are on the lower margin, and there's always a gap in between. And that just helps you to see where it's at. So if you're looking at a verse and you see the number, then that will indicate a textual footnote, and then a letter will indicate a cross-reference, and you can easily go between the two. Pretty much all reference Bibles have a way to distinguish, and they usually have the footnotes and cross-references separate in some way. This one's an option I haven't really seen before, but with a side column reference like this, it really makes sense, and I really like how they did it. Here, let's go to a poetic setting. Paragraphs are indicated by bolded verse numbers. If you'll remember, one of the, specifically the NASB 2020 large print ultra thin that I reviewed a while back had pilcrows that indicated paragraphs. I like it when they do the bold verse numbers personally. It's a black letter. There's no page color accents. There's the Proverbs. And then let's go to the New Testament. Words of Christ are black. Something I personally like more than red letter, but give me a good red letter and I'll be happy. Obviously in the New Testament, the cross-references are going to be greater because it's using a lot more of the Old Testament references brought into the New, so you have more references going on. So that obviously means, like here, there will be less margin. So if you're thinking of using this for writing in, not necessarily a wide margin Bible, even though compared to where the text ends and the page ends, there's a really wide gap. It's not always going to be there, especially in the New Testament. And since a lot of people study in the New Testament, if you're using this, thinking of using this for writing, might go with the wide margin instead of this. So going to the end of Revelation, you have the New American Standard Bible topical index. I really like the topicals because they add a little bit of flavor to the index that's just not, it's not a typical concordance, but it's got more information, and I really like that. Something I thought was kind of odd is the page numbers end after Revelation. So it stops at page 1546, but according to the fact sheet on this Bible, there are 1,696 pages. So you can see there's no page numbers at the end. So I kind of wish they kept going with that, just as a minor feature, but it's not like you're going to be referencing a specific page in the index necessarily, so it's okay. Introductions to the books of the Bible are not with the individual books throughout the text, but placed in a single spot at the end of the Bible. I'm not sure this isn't really a study Bible, so this makes sense, and it's kind of a nice thing to have. You're really referencing, you're not necessarily using it for background study, so it's nice that they are in here, but I do kind of like that they're in the back and not with them. I've kind of changed my mind on that, but I'm coming to the point where I like them in the back. There's parables of Jesus, miracles, important events in Christ's life, Old Testament prophecies fulfilled in Christ, and then a Bible in a year reading plan. And there's like 8 pages of clear Bible paper, and then 8 maps, which are not a full gloss cardstock. They're kind of a semi-gloss. You can kind of see them shining there a little bit, but they don't have a very heavy sheen. And then you get to the end of the Bible. As a comparison, we've already looked at it a little bit, but the wide margin is a little bit different. You can see it's, like I said, a justified text. Verses are on the inside, so they're not hanging on the out. The references and footnotes are on the bottom. And so, like I said, they distinguish the two by having the references on the right-hand side, and then the textual footnotes divided by a line on the left, and then footnotes on the right by a line. So you can see how they separate the two to make it a little bit easier to find them. And then also on the left, it reverses. So this one, textual footnotes are on the left and cross-references on the right. And that's the same way throughout the entire thing. So text size is about the same, but obviously different layout for a different preference. So both of these are really great, but they both are for different audiences. Probably the closest competitor still on the market right now is the Zondervan NASB single column reference Bible. I have this one, is my mom's, and it's in the brown leather soft, and this is from Zondervan, and this is also the 95. Let's flip these open to get a good view of their contents. So again, the Zondervan has been around in publication for quite some time now. This one is probably what most people are familiar with as far as being the more recent option for this design in an NASB. There are no separations between the textual footnotes and the cross-references. They're evenly spaced out along the page, which can be nice, and I'm not saying that's a bad design. There's an even margin, which is a plus in its direction, but to me there's a lot of wasted space in the sense that, I don't know, I just have never really loved that look for some reason. I don't know why, but that's the truth. So this one has red accents, and again, the verse numbers are inset, but you can see in this one, they are actually all inset. So there's actually an indent where each verse begins, which makes it a little bit easier to note, to find your place compared to the NASB wide margin. And this one, they did art gilding and a perimeter gilt line on the inside. So they kind of made a non-premium into a fancy little non-premium. So that's the two major comparisons that I had. This is overall a really nice Bible. I'm really looking forward to seeing a prime edition of one of these new Lockmans. I have not seen the primes, which are their premium editions yet, but every video and review that I have seen so far, they look really nice. So looking forward to getting my hands on one of those at one point to show all of you. But for now, this is also a very affordable option. So this one is going for around $35, $38, depending on where you get it, which is quite affordable for a Bible of this caliber. The leather edition of this one is going for around $65, and then obviously the prime edition's around $200, which is pretty average for a premium Bible. So there you have it. That is the NASB 1995 Side Column Reference Bible from the Lockman Foundation. Thank you, Lockman, for sending me this Bible to review. I really like this design. It's very affordable. Even the genuine leather edition is still very affordable. It's a really good design layout, especially for a reference Bible. Love the single column, love the verse by verse, and I love how it's been published and produced. So thank you to all of you who watch my videos, and I look forward to giving you some more content.